Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Scott.
I'm John.
And we're married.
Look at that.
And we're here to talk about knitting.
Yes, we are.
Although, minimally so.
Yeah, it's been it's not been the most productive week we've had as far as garment creation.
No, and I was on call for work, and that always, if I get calls overnight, then I get really tired, and then I don't feel like doing anything but napping during the day because I'm up all night.
Right. And actually, the one project I'm working on right now does not lend itself well to popcorn knitting. So I need to find one that does. So.
Oh, I was like, I thought I heard a wild animal, and really it's our cats trying to kill each other.
On the other side of the
On the
patio
other side
door.
of the patio door.
Cool.
All
So
right,
shall we just dive in? Dive in.
They're really trying to kill each other. What happened to small talk? People love small talk.
Do they? Okay.
I love small talk.
I know.
I never
know.
talk to you.
You never do. This is actually
We're trapped inside
This
together.
is the only time we actually talk to each other.
It's on camera. So, it's beautiful here in Minneapolis. Except not.
Is it?
Steamy and overcast.
Right. And we're actually doing a new thing. We're podcasting in the morning, so which we don't usually do. Usually what we do is we have our day and...
late afternoon, early evening?
Yeah, for sure. But it's nice out. It stopped raining early, so why not? Scott was like, the light will be beautiful.
Yeah, light like this
be.
is really helpful for picking things up, so...
Right. And we've got our basil lemonade.
Oh yeah, fresh basil lemonade from our basil that's growing right over there.
And I've got actual caffeinated tea, which is unusual too.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm not drinking alcohol.
Oh my
God. This is going to be a very boring podcast.
Well, maybe.
So...
I mean, you can be funny without alcohol.
Sure. Yeah, so we're getting close to the end of our knit along.
Yes. Hashtag sweet tea,
big fail.
Yeah, SweetTeaNoShade Cal 2020 double fail.
Double fail, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. Not on you guys.
No.
It's on us.
It's on us. Yeah, so nothing. I'm trying to think of like anything that's been going on in our lives. So we're going to a cabin with two friends.
In a few weeks. Yeah.
Up in northern Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Northern Wisconsin, right?
Sure.
And then I found out, you kind of knew this, but I found out that I'm going to be working from home for the rest of the year and maybe permanently.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the same situation that we're at. If we hadn't just signed a huge lease on a new building.
Well, yeah, we did the same thing. We did our company did a huge remodel, like a multi-million-dollar remodel on a building. Right,
which is, now just at this point collecting cubes.
I was just not related to what we were just talking about. I was just looking over, and we've been really having good luck with our garden this year. I don't know if we talked about this before, but our tomatoes that we had last year that were
they're heirlooms. So
heirloom.
They're
like handmade.
What's the word? They were like black Cherokee or purple Cherokee.
Purple Cherokee. I was like bespoke tomatoes. No, that's not right. Heirloom tomatoes.
Right.
And at the end of the season, we let the remaining tomatoes drop, and now we have 5,000 tomato plants, which is awesome.
Yeah. So we're trying to, the growing season in Minnesota is not the longest. So we're hoping that usually the people. So if you go around here and you look at people's gardens, there's some people who have like full ripe, beautiful, ripening tomatoes.
Right over there, our neighbor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is. But usually people like that, you don't do it from seed in the ground.
Correct. Yeah, you don't. You do it from you buy the plants that have been started in a greenhouse. Or
right, or you start it yourself, which we've never. We've thought about doing a couple of times, but we never have. So maybe next year.
We easily could because we have that light in the basement that would work.
We have the lights, and obviously we have good seeds.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, the reason I was distracted was because I was looking over, and the milkweed we have lots of monarchs. We let we didn't pull up the milkweed this year. We let it grow, and not that we ever pull our weeds out.
We pull some weeds out.
We pull some weeds out. But we let the milkweed bloom, and the monarch, we've just got all kinds of monarchs in our, and it's probably not as interesting to talk about it. We should probably do some video or something at some point.
Yeah, for
rather
sure.
than just talking about it, but
we can do a little shot of you like knitting a sock in our garden.
Oh, like action knitting?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, some people can pull that off, not me. I would start laughing, and it would be dorky.
Yeah, well, I think that could be funny, though. Anyway.
So we've got some knitting. I don't have any acquisitions yet. I've bought some things, and you've bought some things. They just haven't arrived.
Yeah, and I've got a work in progress and then a future work in progress.
Sounds like Timber is at it. Our neighbor's dog Timber is.
Probably not, because they moved.
Well, no, he still comes over there. That's Timber's bark.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
So I've got a work in progress and then a future work in progress, which I'm excited about. And that's kind of it. And then I've got a bunch of, how do you say, like, I was like thinking about this. We might need to go back and do a what's hanging out and haunting our stash, our cues.
So we did that one time where it's like, what's in this project bag? And then we went through, because there's some things.
I feel like I know there are at least like 4 things that I have sort of hanging out.
Yeah. There's a shawl that I was doing for a friend of mine, and I think I would enjoy doing it. It's just, I think once I put something down, sometimes I just totally lose interest in it.
Yeah.
Even if I loved it when I was initially doing it.
Well, I have that sock. I'm doing this sock for a friend of ours that I was trying to finish by the time he left last year this time.
That's
and I still need to do the second sock.
Forgot about that.
So,
socks aren't your thing, though.
Well, I'm trying. I actually was on Ravelry, and I'm trying to find a good worsted weight sock pattern because I think I might enjoy that. And then I saw on the Instagram the vanilla latte sock pattern.
It's the Insta.
The Insta.
That's what we call it, yeah, the Insta.
It's the vanilla latte sock pattern, which...
I have that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's free, so...
Oh, is it?
I have it too now.
Okay.
I do have now.
I didn't know. I couldn't remember that it was...
But yeah, I was thinking I might, try that one, because it's a little more... it has, like 3 different heels and 3 different toes and stuff like that, so that would be fun to play with for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, as soon as I finish, again, my other socks in progress. Boo-hoo, they're haunting me.
Yeah. So we have knitting to talk about. We have an Angela Lansbury movie. We caught up with what we were going to do last time, and then we have a special interview.
Yeah.
Audio only.
Audio only. # setting the record straight.
# breaking my silence.
# no more lies.
# no more lies. Okay. So,
do you want to do the...
I lost my train of thought there. I'll start with just one of my projects, and then you can go next. So, okay, so this first one is a half-finished object. So I finished one of my socks for you.
Yay!
Took a lot less time than I thought it was going to. I think I've gotten a lot faster since the last time I knit you a sock. Mm-hmm. Because it's your foot, it doesn't fit on the sock blocker. So this is the sock. Turned out really nice. Mm-hmm. People really liked that we did those close-ups last time, so I'll do that. But this is a sock for John, and it's the Prince Humperdinck colorway from Trilogy Yarns Princess Bride sock club, 3-month sock club. And so you can see it's got kind of this awesome, it's really cool because it's got this wind of solid purple that kind of goes around.
And then with this greenish brown and stuff like that. I don't
think there's any brown in it, but there's green and purple in it.
Sure.
So, and it kind of goes around, and then this yellow color.
Yeah.
So I did I didn't plan well, and so I've not done contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs before, but I ended up with using more yarn than I thought I was going to, and so Nancy's helping me straighten that out.
Hey.
But yeah, so and you tried it on and it worked. So
Yep.
what I use is 2.5 millimeter needles, and I use 64 stitches. And then you wear a size US men's 12.
12 and a half, yeah.
12 and a half. So what I typically do is I pad him, put the sock on, and then I want where the end of the foot is, where before I start the toe, to kind of be right. It can cover up like the two smallest toes.
Yeah.
And then that maybe is pushing it a little bit, but then I measure I take it when you take it back off your foot, then I measure from the bottom of the heel flap, so the top of the heel turn. And that's how I keep track of how far to knit it. So now I had it written down of how far or how long it needed to be, but it was not from the bottom of the heel flap.
Right.
So I got those measurements now. Because I've only knit you 3 pair? 2 pair?
4.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I've got a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, so it turned out great. And so I'm working on the second one, and I'm this far. I'm probably 3/4 of the way, maybe. Oh no, I'm getting
almost
close
to the heel.
Almost to the heel flap. So
Cool.
yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. So, yeah, Nancy's the label for the yarn, and yeah, so.
All right. So I'm going to move the lemonade out of the way so I can show my stuff. So this is...
That's right. Put it back here.
Okay, perfect. Oh, it's a nice little... It's that piece now. So this is a baby sweater that I'm knitting for some friends of ours who have twins. So it is... Oh, the pattern is somewhere.
It's like Leelanau
or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So anyway, I have...
I'll put it on the screen again.
Yeah, I have the body done, and I have one arm done. So, oops. So yeah. Oh, it's gonna be more like that. So yeah, I'm working on the second sleeve. I made sure I started it immediately because otherwise it might never get done. And I've got a second one of these to do. So, but yeah, I really like it. It's, again, very easy to knit. Feels like butter is the yarn. And so it's in this teal and red. And yeah, I've never done a bottom up sweater before. So that's kind of fun. And so once I get the next sleeve done, I will attach the sleeves and then do the yoke. And I think this one has neck shaping, and kind of like the one you did, it has you pick up, so you knit it, bind off, pick up stitches, and do the neck.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'm very interested to see how it comes out. And yeah, baby sweaters are fantastic. They knit up really quickly.
So the baby sweater that I'm working on is the Flax Light, and I showed it last time. And I put that down this week mainly so I could focus on our knit along, the hat that I'm doing for the knit along, and then I got really into doing the socks. But what was I going to say about that? Oh, but I did end up buying a bunch of different colors of the Feels Like Butter yarn, just because I think this will be great for other baby sweaters.
Yeah, and it's I think it's very easy to knit with.
Yeah.
It doesn't split because it's not fiber.
Right.
It's not, I don't know. I think it's extruded, not spun.
Probably is.
But, it's great. It's got cat hair on it, so now it's a little organic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I was kind of hoping to be a little further. I've got about this much of the first bit of the next sleeve done, which is downstairs somewhere. But hopefully by that will probably take me another, couple of days, and I can start putting it all together next week.
Awesome. So should we dive in and start talking about our knit along fail?
Yeah.
So here's the deal. We are doing a knit along. For those of you that don't know, it ends in
4 days.
4 days at the end of July. And how is it the end of July already?
I don't know.
So, the knit-along is Entrelac and Intarsia. So any projects with that, we're going to draw some prizes. Draw a prize from Instagram, draw a prize from Ravelry finished objects. And I think we're cursed as far as like actually completing things.
I've
for
completed
our own
my
knit-alongs.
stuff for the knit-alongs.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
I mean, I think your curse rubbed off on me.
I think you're right. I'm cursed, and then yes, my curse rubbed off on you. But these are our prizes. This is donated by Trilogy Yarns, Nancy. So this is her colorway Conquest, and here's her colorway Titan. So we're really excited to give those to people, not to ourselves.
No, I feel like we should probably donate the one she gave us since we failed.
I know, right? So this was mine. I'm going to talk about mine first.
Yeah.
So
mine's unchanged from last week.
Right.
So.
Yours got the magic knot untied and
Scott's fixing it.
Hilarity ensued.
Yeah.
So this is mine, and what happened was I got to the 5th round of this hat. This is the All Squared Up 2.0 by Theresa Schabes. I got to the round 5. I think I finished I can't remember if I started with the start of round 5 or the end of round 5, where I got stuck. And I just did not understand how to proceed. So Rusty from Rusty Knits, he has a podcast, relatively new.
And he's like a fiber artist wizard.
Yes. Well, he's an artist.
Yeah.
Like a visual artist.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
So he took it upon himself to figure the hat out, and he actually did a little video for me to help me understand how to do it. It was amazing. It was like, why? I mean, some people had suggested, go down to your local yarn store, and I could have done that, but it's just a little weird right now with, our state is a little more closed than I think other states in the United States, and so it's still not just free for all, go into a store and hang out.
Right.
So it would have been a little awkward, standing closely to someone to like compare. So his video was perfect. It showed me exactly what I needed to do, and I started doing it, and I got super excited and got through like binding off half the squares, and I'm like, oh wait. So I was like, as I'm going, I'm like, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to end up with no stitches and a big hole in the top. Like, I'm binding everything off. And I went back and read the pattern, and I wasn't supposed to be binding off everything. I was supposed to keep knitting. So you've already heard this story because I told you
I was there when it happened.
Right. So the thing was, I just got so excited of having it sit around, and then Rusty showed me what I did wrong, and then I promptly called him Randy when I thanked him for, I don't know what it is, but anyway, at that point, I'm not experienced enough, or maybe there's not even a way to do it, but I wouldn't know how to tink back or rip out on an Entrelac pattern
that's bound off
with a 3-needle bind off.
Yeah.
So I just was like, you know what? I'm going to bless it and release it, because I thought about going ahead and continuing and binding everything off, and then like somehow whatever. It is what it is. I think.
You know what you could do?
What?
You could just finish binding it off and then have one of those hats that has a hole on top of it.
For my ponytail?
For your ponytail.
Yeah. So the yarn is beautiful. I'm gonna reuse the yarn. What will most likely happen is I will probably knit this pattern I will probably just reuse the yarn to, because what I've done before, when I've messed up like that before on a pattern, I don't like rewind the yarn or whatever. What I'll do is I'll cut it and then I will start
using that as the skein.
using the previous project as the skein. So
Yeah.
that's probably what I will do, because I think that this is really cool looking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the yarn is great, and you know, a lot of Entrelac patterns are, you you make sure that you do a different yarn for each square, so that each square is a different color, or you've got a couple colors going on. I think that's what Rusty did, or I know that's what Rusty did, but I actually don't mind the multicolor, because you can still see the the detail or the squares and stuff, the structure. So it was just a matter, and I have a tendency to do that where I don't read the pattern. Like, I get to a step and then I get excited and I just keep going, when in actuality I was supposed to do that and then stop and do something else and then do it again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's more to the repeat.
Yeah, for sure.
And I tend to do that, and I try not to, but like, for example, when I was doing the patina pullover and I didn't switch back to the bigger needles. It says in the pattern to switch back to the bigger needles, but I got excited, and I was still on the smaller needles, and I just picked up the stitches with the smaller needles. So it's like the teacher, like when you're in school and she it's like she says read the instructions, and the instructions say put your name at the top and turn it in and you'll get 100, and people do the whole test and don't see it. That's me. So yeah, hashtag knitting fail.
Yeah.
So,
oh wow.
But anyway, we will, somebody's going to win an awesome prize. A couple people are going to win some awesome prizes. We're going to pull, so in 4 days we'll close the
thing, and then send stuff off, and then next week we'll talk about a couple of the completed submissions. Yeah,
we'll talk about some of the completed submissions, and we'll talk about the winners and stuff.
Yeah.
So we will do that in our next episode. So.
Yeah, and again, I was doing the Intarsia socks, and yeah, if you saw last week, basically one of my magic knots came apart. Scott is fixing it, so it's not dead yet, but I think it's going to be delayed for a bit.
Yeah.
So,
and we have to talk about if you want me to fix it.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth on that, because part of me just wants to just start over.
Yeah.
And I've got plenty of yarn to do it, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, because the thing is, it's like, I feel sad, I guess, or disappointed, because I'm like, you want to complete a project.
For sure.
You start this thing and you put all this time into it and you get excited about it, but at the same time, it's like, this is not fun anymore.
It's not sparking joy.
It's not sparking joy. It's not fun anymore. And
right.
I forget who it was. Somebody was talking about this recently, and it's like, it's okay to just stop.
Yeah.
And do something else. It's like we talked about before, like reading books. It's like, I have this real thing where it's like, if you start a book, you have to finish it.
Right.
But it's like, if you're not enjoying the book.
Right.
And my problem is, this happened to me, I don't remember what the project was, but I just stopped knitting anything.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it was the dog sweater.
Right.
I was like, this is so, it's not complicated, but it's so many,
so much attention, right? It's
yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
It's like that colorwork sweater I'm working on that I just pick up every now and again, and I'll finish it at some point. But
right. The Rowan.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. It's just not. You can stop.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that.
Sometimes it's all about learning.
Well, it is. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is it's like, this is awesome. I don't know how this is going to look on me, because it does read a little bit mushroom or chef's hat to me.
Sure.
I'm not sure how it'll look on me, but the other thing too is, like, I would definitely do like Entrelac mittens or an Entrelac blanket, or I do want to go back and redo this project, because I think it would be awesome, even if once we redo our office, and, even if it's like we have a mannequin head with this on it,
Sure.
It's just a cool thing to have.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Fast forward for 6 months and I'll forget I even talked about that.
Yeah, no, that'll be
project,
fun.
Yeah.
So
that's our.
I'm going to talk about this because it's kind of fun. This is my potential future finished objects, future work in progress. A flop. So this is one.
It's a PO, a potential object.
A PO. I've been, I've ordered a bit of the yarn lately, and I have. This is this yarn. It's from Lady Yarns. It's called Georgia Pecan. It's a DK weight, and I just want to do something with this yarn. And so I was looking around my queue and stuff like that, and I found this pattern that I had saved. It's called the 66 Triangles Cowl. It's by Benjamin Matthews Designs, who is the designer for whom I did that test knit last week.
Oh, the hat with the chevrons on it. Yeah.
So it's this cowl pattern. It's kind of what it looks like. It's seriously a series of triangles in a cowl. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do that.
I'll probably grab a picture of that and put it in.
Yeah, for sure. And so what I did, because I needed DK yarn, so I knew I wanted to do this one. And so I went into the area of our stash where all the DK and worsted is stored, pulled all the DK and worsted, and kind of did a match game. And what I landed on was I'm going to use this as the contrasting color. It's from Urban Girl Yarns, and it's called Kaleidoscope. It's another DK. Boston is her base. And actually, I got this for another cowl project, but I just really like how these two look together.
Well, and this is not a classic, obvious pairing, but I think what makes it work is that this skein has this color in it.
Right.
I don't know if that's going to pick up on the camera and if you can tell, but especially up in here, you can see
it's
got this color in it, which makes it work.
Yeah, and I just figured with this being a really solid tonal dye, and this, I thought I just like sort of pairing those two together.
Yeah.
As opposed to just block. So the problem is with this one is that all my small cables are being used in other projects right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I basically have to wait until I finish the sleeve.
Or, another reason that we might need to go through our 50,000 project bags that don't have project, that we're not working
Where are the
on.
cables? Yeah. But I feel like once I finish that second sleeve, I'll have the cable I need for this.
Oh, okay.
So it is a motivation to finish that second sleeve.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's a really pretty easy stranded colorwork pattern. So it's not quite popcorn knitting, but it's definitely like American Ninja Warrior knitting. So TV that you don't
Is
pay.
it stranded colorwork? I think you said
Yeah,
that.
stranded colorwork. Although, I would want to do it in Intarsia because that would be a nightmare.
No, I guess I was thinking it's not mosaic knitting.
No. Although you could do it mosaic knitting. I think the nice thing about stranded colorwork is it just makes it cozier.
Yeah.
Because you got the two layers of, which I'm assuming is one of the reasons for stranded colorwork.
Yeah.
Is that you make a heavier garment, and the stranded colorwork is just a bonus. The design is a bonus.
Oh, I see what you mean, like the double thickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in the Scottish Isles.
Or Minnesota.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean, where it was invented.
Yeah. So anyway, so again, Lady Yarns, Georgia Pecan, and this is Kaleidoscope from Urban Girl Yarns. So
the skein, the Lady Dye Works skein looks bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, they're almost exactly the same length.
Yeah, I think this one's more tightly wound.
Yeah.
It's 230. This is 231 yards.
Right.
This is 230 yards. So that's probably the difference.
Right. Or not.
Yeah.
Cool. And
So,
they're
yeah.
both 100% superwash merino.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to get set up for our interview.
So.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
They may not have heard of you before.
I am the famous or infamous Betty Ann that Scott calls Mom normally. But when he's not normal, he calls me Betty Ann.
When I'm not normal.
Yeah.
When you're not normal.
So we wanted to call you.
Number one.
We cleared this call through
Interpol.
our lawyers and your lawyers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first thing is we need you to let her know that stuff is on the way.
Oh, yes. So there's a
Oh, I
package.
thought you needed to let me know that this call is being recorded.
Well, it is being recorded.
And it might be used as evidence against you in a future
Therefore,
court
I
case.
will speak accordingly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so there is a package on its way to you.
Finally?
Yeah.
You know what?
Settle down.
You should be happy that
It's
yeah, so it's got the socks, the 80s socks. It's got
Okay.
the sexy cowboy yarn from Nancy,
Yay!
Trilogy
Thank
Yarns.
you, Trilogy Yarns.
And then it also has another something in it that you'll see when you get it.
Will it explode?
maybe.
Yes.
Maybe open it
I want to
outside.
open it if it'll explode.
So, I mean, we are known on our podcast for hard-hitting journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be asking you some questions, and I want you to answer honestly.
I mean, but know that it may be used against you in a court of law.
Right.
There, yeah, take that into consideration.
So,
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
so
I am a child of the 60s, you know.
I see that in.
Except I didn't do that kind of stuff. Okay.
Sure, you didn't. So
I didn't.
in the comments of our videos, you often claim that our stories about you are not true. And I want
Yes.
to know if are you saying that because you're embarrassed? Because when you behave the way that you do, you certainly don't act embarrassed.
But that's my business.
I guess my
It's
question.
not for you to tell.
What
guess-
does that mean?
I guess my question is, since we did watch a legal drama for the Angela
Oh, yes,
Lansbury
our
update,
Angela Lansbury was a
and
legal
we
drama.
now know all about law.
We're law experts.
So can
now.
you present any evidence that the stories we tell are not true?
That is my business, so I can tell it, but you can't tell it.
You're guilty until proven innocent.
I think
Thank
that is
you.
that sounds like a lawyer answer. So
It does.
feels like taking the fifth to me.
The other thing I wanted to ask is, why do you not watch the Angela Lansbury movies?
Because I like more up-to-date films. I've already seen these things way back in the olden days. And I'm not as
But they're not all old.
obsessive about her as you are.
They're-
But we're not obsessive about her. I mean, but yeah, we kind of
I mean,
are.
yeah, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's her movies. It's not anybody else's movies.
Right. We've actually we had a conversation today about. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
That later.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
So, so it's because they're.
But you don't watch the new movies.
Yeah, you don't watch the new movies either.
Yeah.
Well, I like Blood and Guts and Real Police and
She likes
scary movies, and she's not very scary, I don't think.
Oh, she is.
She can be.
So.
Okay, so it's just not your genre typically.
Mhm.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So,
Now use that against me.
so the next topic is
She's intolerant.
Betty Ann is
She's
intolerant.
ageist.
She's ageist. So the next topic is knitting. Are you working on any knitting projects right now?
I'm working on my baby's blanket.
Ah, okay. So tell us about it. Tell us what the yarn
it's
is.
kind of a aqua color, and it's just a knit row and a knit 3. I mean purl 3, knit 3, purl 3, knit 3 for the next row.
Mm-hmm.
That's the pattern, and it's just going to be his blanket.
So it's like
and I'm working on a cross stitch piece for him.
So it's like a checkered. Is it like a checkerboard?
It's got kind of a little pattern like that, but it's all one color, of course. So
gotcha.
It's, and I've just got to get it to the length that I want it. So
cool.
That it's just a simple pattern.
Do you have any pictures you can send us of it?
I may have already, but and I'm using yarn. I can't remember the yarn, but I'll put it in with the pictures. It smells like goats. It smells so good to me.
Oh, that's not the name of the yarn though.
That's not the name. Oh, smells like goats. No, it should have a name like that, because if there's herd of turtles, smells like goats. Okay, you dyers out there, Trilogy Yarns and Jesse, make one that says smells like goats. It has that, that yarn animal smell that's not offensive. It's just...
I think
it just smells like goats.
It smells like sheep, doesn't it? Not goats, unless it's goat yarn.
I'm sorry, not goats. I still want smells like goats.
Yeah, smells like goats has a nice ring to it.
Smells like sheep. Yes, sheep, not goats.
Smells like goats. That's not a good smell.
You have to rein in me and John.
That's not a good smell. Goats are not a good smell.
It might be goat hair.
So we were watching a TV show. Oh, Mom. Well, no, you like this kind of stuff. We found a new TV show that we've become obsessed with. We watched like 5 episodes in a row. It's on Netflix. It's called Indian Matchmaking.
It's called what?
Indian Matchmaking. And it's this woman who is a matchmaker, and she matches up people from India, either living in India. She lives in India, but she'll either match up people in India, or she'll match up people. She'll either match up people that live in India, or she'll match up Indian people that live in the United States who have like an Indian heritage. And, it follows, a core, handful of people, but like, every once in a while they'll introduce a new character or a new person who's using her services. So I think there's like 8 episodes or 10 episodes or something like that. But it's really, really good.
It sounds a lot like 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah, I mean, they're not trying to get U.S. citizenship.
No, I understand, but I mean, the concept of the couples and matching them up and all that stuff.
Yeah, and culturally it's interesting because, culturally it's interesting because I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, because their culture has the concept of arranged marriages, and that's such a significant part of their marriages, or at least in the past, not as much now, but they talk a lot about arranged marriages and stuff like that. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing all this up is because that's what our latest TV show watching is, but also there's an episode where the people go on a date, 2 of the people that she's matched up, and it's yoga with baby goats. So they're doing yoga, and then there's like little baby goats that are running around, and they'll like be bending over, and they'll jump up on their back and stuff.
Oh my gosh. That's gotta be adorable.
Yeah.
It's very cute. So, do we have any other questions for Betty Ann?
No, I mean, I think what she's knitting.
Tell the truth anyway. So.
Well, we're letting you set the record straight as it is.
Yeah, #no more lies.
What she's knitting, what she's up to.
Oh, what are you cross-stitching for Santiago?
It's Welcome to the World, little one.
Aww.
And it's got his, it'll have his name on it if I can fit it on there. But it's a lot of different colors, and it's just a little sign that welcome to the world.
Oh, that's nice.
So, and for anyone who might have not seen previous episodes, that Santiago is my new nephew and your first grandbaby.
My very first, Santiago Valentino Asbil Carrillo.
Yes. So, all right. right. Well, we have to go and talk about our Angela Lansbury movie, but you're not part of that.
Right.
Or else we could invite you to stay with us and talk about it with us.
Yeah, but she's made a choice.
You've made a
hang up
choice.
and listen to the rambling.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, talk to you later.
Okay, love you guys.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was problematic as usual.
Well, I
she
mean...
didn't tell the truth at all about anything. She made it all up.
Well, I mean, that's... I think she's been advised by her lawyers.
She just brushed over it all her bad behaviors.
I mean, I think she's in a very complicated legal situation right
she's
now.
In a very dark place.
Yeah, and she's just doing what she needs to do to, escape the consequences of her actions.
Yeah, it's true.
So, what else?
And we don't even know where she is. I mean, we called her on her cell phone, but I mean, she could be in Iceland, or she could be in one of her...
She's disabled the microchip we put in her, I'm sure.
It's true.
Ka-chunk!
She's in one of her safe houses in one of the rural communities in Georgia, probably.
Right, or one of the Baltic states.
Yeah, well, true. Okay. So, we forgot our picture. We'll have to remember that for next time.
Yeah, she's downstairs.
We watched Please Murder Me!
Exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
Is there a comma behind it? Is it please, comma, murder me, exclamation point? Or is it just please murder me, exclamation point?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, let's take a step back. So we are entering the part of our segment of our podcast, which is our movie along, where we watch a Angela Lansbury movie and then discuss it. So so it's like 3 weeks ago we talked about we're going to watch Please Murder Me, and then we didn't watch one, and now we are. Now we have. So it was made in 1956. Mm-hmm. So that would have been, she was 31.
Yep.
Angela Lansbury was 31. She was top billing.
Yep.
And there was a cat who was thrown across the room.
That's true, but
he wasn't thrown across the room, but he was.
He was roughly picked up.
Picked up and roughly put down.
And then never seen from again.
It's true. Although in the movie poster, there's a cat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the bottom. And I'm like, it's interesting, the cat. I mean, I guess it's a black cat, and I guess it gives it a sense
spooky.
Yeah. But it's, I'm like, the cat's in it for 30 seconds, but it's in the bottom of the poster. So I took some notes.
Okay.
So that we can talk, and then, of course, you can...
Do a little quick synopsis.
Oh, yeah, good. Why don't you do that?
All right. So it's an hour and 14-minute film, so it's actually pretty fast. I think our bite squad took longer to arrive than the movie took to watch.
Which in Canada is called Skip the Dishes.
Oh. Well, it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
So
Grocery Girls talk about that.
So we ordered our bite squad and started the movie, and by the time the bite squad arrived, the movie was over, even with pausing.
Right.
So basically,
it was like 74 minutes.
Yeah, not long at all. So the setup is Angela Lansbury is in love with Raymond Burr, who is a lawyer, but she's married to this guy who she's married to for 2 years, and she kills him, and she says it's in self-defense. And there is a trial, and Raymond Burr, who is the person that she is divorcing her husband to marry, defends her, which seems ethically a little dicey.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. And so then there are, of course, twists, and should we do spoilers? I mean...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's from 1956.
Spoiler alert. So,
66 years ago or 76 years ago. Whatever.
Yeah. So what happened was so she was married to this guy, Joe, and then she pretended to be in love with Raymond Burr to get a divorce from him, but she was actually in love with this other guy. Let's call him...
Angela Lansbury be a hoe in this episode.
She's not a nice person.
No.
So she was using the Raymond Burr guy to defend her from the murder charge while planning to marry this other guy. And Raymond Burr was so upset by this, and so she got off. She was declared innocent. So this is all about double jeopardy. So you can't, once you get...
Best Ashley Judd movie ever.
Right. So, once you've been convicted or tried of a certain crime, you can't be retried. So her whole thing is like, well, I got acquitted once, it doesn't matter if they find out that I really didn't do it in self-defense, which she didn't.
Question. What about a civil trial? So what if they found out, like, she was acquitted of the
Yeah, those are different.
criminal?
Yeah.
So, but let's say she walks around and she's like, oh, I really did kill that guy.
Yeah.
Could she be sued in civil court?
Oh yeah, because that happens all the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's
But,
what
like,
happened in the OJ trial, right?
Yes.
Didn't they win the civil trial?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because you're not putting
Because the burden of truth is lower.
Yes, and you're asking for, it's. But I mean, generally, what happens in civil trials, if there's a not guilty verdict in a criminal trial, it's harder to get the civil damages.
Yeah.
Or so I've heard. So anyway.
In all the court cases
I
you've
know.
been involved in. Well, there's all the ones that we've been involved in where we've had to be there to support Betty Ann.
That's true. She gets off. I mean, she's slippery.
Every
so
single
anyway,
time.
So then he's so crushed by the fact that the woman that he loved and defended, and he like basically, feels like he loved 3 things in this life: Myra, the law, and something else.
And his friend Joe.
And his friend Joe, who she was married to. And she basically, through her shenanigans, like ruined them all for her. So once he figures out what a bad person she is, he decides the only way to get back at her is to make her murder him. And so the last 40 minutes of the movie are him kind of setting her up. And the last scene is he's like threatening to blackmail her. She shoots him. And right after she shoots him, the DA comes in. And the DA is like,
And
what's
she's like, oh, he committed suicide.
It's so sad. And then Raymond Burr has been recording their conversation beforehand. So the last shot is Angela Lansbury being like, dun, 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 I've been caught.
When I read the synopses online, it was like, and the movie ends with her crying defeated.
Yeah.
She, so one of the things that I read that was interesting is that she was getting frustrated at this point in her career because she kept being cast as older characters and as bad guys. She kept getting cast as like, and I think maybe not at this point in her career, but maybe later too with the Manchurian Candidate.
Right.
Manchurian Candidate? Yeah. Stuff like that where she's being cast as older women, much older than she was chronologically, and then as bad people.
Right.
And so she felt like that was limiting her career.
Right.
And then she left MGM, and then she didn't find a lot of success. And then she went in, that's when she started her theater career.
Right. Which worked for her.
Yes, it did. So, a couple notes that I took was the opening. Lots of oboe and lots of that. What's that instrument where it was used in a lot of 50s sci-fi?
Oh, it's the
See, I wrote farrier because I knew it sounded like that, but I knew that wasn't the word. It's like the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. And this movie, at least the Amazon Prime version that we watched had not been digitally remastered.
No.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
The audio kept getting out of sync, and there was like lines down the middle of the screen and stuff. And so I read that it had been digitally remastered, but not
the free version.
So the one thing I wanted to talk about was I thought she had a pretty good American accent.
She is American.
We keep going back and forth on this. When I've talked to you about her before, you're like, well, no, she's British.
No, she's Irish American.
Yeah, I know that. But she came here when she was a teenager.
Right.
So she would have had a British or Irish accent.
But you listen to interviews with her, she sounds like an American.
I wish I could just rewind, and I'm going to edit, and I'm going to rewind when we had this conversation the year before, and I said something about her British accent, and you're like, well, yeah, because she grew up in Ireland.
I'm just saying that
can't have it both ways.
I'm just saying that she can probably she's a talented actress, and she can.
I'm moving.
Yeah,
on.
whatever.
So the cat that the guy threw down. So this was Joe, the husband. She comes into the bedroom and.
The cat's on the bed.
The cat's on the bed.
She's not knitting though, which would have been the trifecta.
Oh yeah.
She's never knitting in this thing, but.
No. I don't think she even talks about
No.
knitting or anything. So. You made reference when you were giving the synopsis there might have been some law ethics issues with this movie. And having attended a year of law school.
And I had 3 weeks of my ethics class.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the ethics of this movie?
I think from my 3 weeks of law and ethics, I learned 2 things. Do not have sex with your clients.
Okay, well, that was violated.
That was violated. And you should, as a lawyer, you shouldn't be you should not be a part of the case, right? And in this movie, she's on trial, and in the closing statements, he reveals himself, because they're like, why? Anyway, he's like, I'm the man that she's in love with. And I'm like, I don't think you can do that.
Especially not in the closing arguments.
Right. Yeah.
It makes for good dramatic effect.
Makes for good TV. Good TV.
Good movie.
Good movie. So yeah. I mean, I think the thing is that Raymond Burr's character loves the law and is a good lawyer, but like, I'm just saying, like, when you're the co-respondent in a divorce trial, maybe you shouldn't be representing her as her murder attorney.
Right. And I'm one of these people that I watch TV shows where there's scenes or movies where there's scenes in a courtroom, and I totally eat it up. Like, I don't worry too much about what's realistic or not. Or same with medical dramas.
Oh, right.
Like all the what's the guy's name that wrote Pelican Brief and all that?
John Grisham, all
those John Grisham movies and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's so, drama. But even I was like, I don't think that the district attorney can be like listing off all this stuff about how much money that she was going to get paid by killing her husband. It's
like, enter that into evidence, yeah. I mean, it is, maybe criminal procedure was different back then.
I mean, I liked the movie. I liked the twists and turns, but I was just kind of like, the whole premise was so flawed that it was distracting for me.
Well, there's a movie called The Letter. It is basically the Bette Davis version of this movie.
Oh, okay.
Which we should watch.
Okay.
It's like this movie, except everything's a little bit better.
Yeah.
We should watch it. It's a good movie.
Okay.
It involves Bette Davis, like, just straight out shooting somebody. That's the opening scene. She's like, bam, bam.
Well, Angela Lansbury shot 2 people in this movie, although you only see her shoot 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question I have, and for anybody else who watched this, what is with all the Buddhas?
Yeah.
There was like the giant Buddha on there. Not that there's that sounded bad. It's not like there's an issue with the people having Buddhas in their house, but it just seemed a little out of the ordinary for people in this time. I don't know. It just seemed a little not anachronistic, but can't think of the word. So there was like the Buddha on the mantelpiece, the giant Buddha on the mantelpiece in their living room, and then there was a Buddha head later somewhere. And I just didn't know if it was like...
Maybe they stole it, because they were both in World War II. Maybe the idea is they picked them up while they were surveying in the Pacific.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. And when you said maybe it was...
Maybe it was what they had on hand for set decoration, because this is so we talked about this is a what they call Poverty Row movie, and so these movies, is it Columbia? I can't remember. Like, they're made very, very cheaply.
Yeah.
So it might have been just what was available to do the set at the time.
So speaking of set, this is really fascinating, and I'm going to be inserting pictures of this. So there's a website called PerryMasonTVSeries.com, and it's kind of the Wikipedia or the wiki for everything Perry Mason. And it's people watch every minute detail of the TV show and talk and have forums and talk about it. Well, one of the things that when I did a Google search on this movie that came up was there is a coffee set that they use in the Perry Mason movie, in the Perry Mason TV show. And it's just like, whenever there's coffee, it's this very distinct coffee set. Well, it was actually in this movie.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so it's like somebody had this coffee set and it was in this movie. And the other thing I didn't realize is, so Raymond Burr played the lawyer in this movie and kind of the good guy.
Right.
And the next year was when he started Perry Mason.
Right. There's some speculation this movie was an audition for Perry Mason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because they talked about, and I don't know a lot of Raymond Burr's acting history other than Perry Mason, but they talked about a lot of the times he was a bad guy because he's such a big guy and such a distinctive look. And then, because I had forgotten that he was the murderer in Rear Window.
Oh, okay. Sure. I don't remember that, but yeah.
Somebody made reference to that in one of the things they were talking about. And then he was in this movie, I don't know where the two were in reference to one another, but he was in this movie which led to the Perry Mason. And previously he had been kind of typecast as a bad guy. And then with Perry Mason, that changed his whatever. So it was fun. I'm glad that it was as short as it was.
Yeah. It was basically a Columbo episode.
Yeah.
Or it was like a
TV episode. Yeah, you're right.
Or a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So next week.
Oh yeah, next week.
We're gonna watch a movie called The Reluctant Debutante. I forget much about it.
Oh, okay.
But it's called The Reluctant Debutante.
Perfect.
I think Rex Harrison's in it.
Okay.
And Sandra Dee's in it too.
Remind me who Rex Harrison is?
He's Professor Higgins from My Fair Lady.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay.
So this seems, there's probably less murder in this next one. Maybe some cat abuse. I'm not sure.
Maybe some knitting.
We'll see.
That'd be nice.
So, and she is probably fifth billing in this one, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. So we were getting our coffee this morning, and we were talking about what happens when we run out of Angela Lansbury movies to watch, and we're not quite there yet.
No.
But
so I want to be a completist about this. Like, I want to go to like a used movie store and try to find like the ones that we can't get online.
You can buy a lot of them on DVD, so we might have to start doing that. Although that feels less inclusive to the people.
That's true. We might just have to do it on our own.
Yeah. But yeah, well, we were thinking about like, do we want to do like a different actor? And I think the thing we got excited about, we both got excited about was,
well, that was a fail. Da, 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 da. Potentially doing something like watching the Razzie of the year and the one that won the Academy Award that year.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
Comparing them or something. Because when did the Razzies start?
I think of the late 80s.
Yeah.
So it would let us watch Showgirls, which I'm always for, and Catwoman, which I'm also always for.
Is that the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman?
No, that's the Halle Berry Catwoman.
Oh, that's right.
That movie is not good.
Because Michelle Pfeiffer was Catwoman
in
Batman. I can't ever keep the Batman movie straight. The one with Penguin and all that.
Yeah, Batman 2, Tim Burton version.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo.
What is it? It's not.
He was in Tim Burton did the first one too.
Yeah, Batman and then Batman again. I don't think it's Batman Returns. I feel like Batman Returns. Oh, it's The Dark Knight Returns is one of the.
That's the newer one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like Batman again.
Batman Powell. All right, so the sun's coming out and it's starting to get hot, and we've talked about all of our agenda. So next week we will have ended our knit along.
Mm-hmm. And we may be doing another one with some other podcasters.
Yes, but we don't have
any
It's not ours
on
to
that.
release the information about yet. So, and I wonder if we'll maybe this one. I feel like we know a little bit about it, and I think it's more realistic that we might actually finish.
Well, because it's not ours, right?
Oh, that's right. So the curses doesn't apply.
Right.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out, and we will see you next week.
All right. Bye.